and welcome. In this video, I want to share with you tips and tools that I use to be more efficient in the kitchen, to save time, to save energy, and to have more joy whilst cooking. So let's get into it. Tip number one is a garlic press. Now, not all recipes you can get away with using garlic powder. Some of them you can, and it's a really great addition, but using fresh garlic can help transform the food to be more flavorful. And with this garlic press, you can literally put it in the little placing and press and kind of use a knife to like scrape off the garlic. And I would recommend that you do that straight into the pan or into a little bowl, because if you do it on a chopping board, you can kind of lose some of the juice. Tip number two is a bin. My bin in my kitchen is actually situated in a cupboard. So every time I need to put something in the bin, I need to open the cupboard, close it, open, close it. And so what I do is I just take the bin out whilst I'm cooking and put it right near me, so that as I'm working, I can just throw things in the bin straight away. You might have a pedal bin where you're kind of using your foot to open it, and you can save a little bit of energy by just taking it out and just having that free access to throw things straight away into the bin. Tip number three are disposable gloves. So I'm an avid user of gloves because it saves me time in terms of when I'm handling raw meat or raw fish, and then handling kind of vegetables or seasoning things or marinating things with my hands. Instead of constantly washing my hands through the kitchen process, I am just using gloves. They get dirty, sticky with lots of sauce, throw it in the bin, and then just keep working. And I just love that. It saved me so much time, and it's a staple for me. Tip number four is multiple chopping boards. Now, if you are cooking a dish with lots of vegetables, instead of kind of chopping one vegetable, putting it to the side, chopping the next one, and doing that multiple times, and then you having your meat and kind of washing between uses, you can just have more than one chopping board, so that you're kind of breezing through the chopping process. You're chopping one, putting it to the side, chopping the next, putting it to the side, and then you can just wash it all together at the end. So that's also something that's helped save a lot of time. Tip number five is a weighing hack. I'm going to cut this out so that I can show you what I mean. And it's basically how you can save time whilst weighing foods, and you're not having to use extra bowls or extra utensils to kind of weigh your items. You can kind of save time with this hack. Okay, so what you want to do is get your weighing scales and either put it to 0 and then place the item on top and 0 again, or you can put the item that you're weighing in its packaging straight onto the weighing scales and then switch it on, and it will be at 0. And then after that, you just take out the quantity that you want, and then you'll know how much you took by the weight on the scales. So just keep taking quantity until you reach how much you want. So this way you don't need an extra bowl, and then you weigh it, and then you wash it. Like I'm going to wash those strawberries after I weigh them, these blueberries, excuse me. Rather than having an extra bowl, I just taking it straight from the container, putting the container back in the fridge, and it also keeps, top tip, the blueberries will stay fresher if you don't wash all of them. Tip number 6 is to clean as you go. So what I mean by that is, instead of cooking and taking your ingredients out of the cupboards and out of the fridge and having things everywhere as you're cooking, once you use something, I would recommend that you put it away straight away, so that you don't leave yourself a pile of items to clean and put away right at the end. It's basically breaking up that workload and not giving yourself an experience where you're constantly having to clean up big mess. So if you also have a kind of clean workspace, then if you're looking for things, you can find them easier, and you can just generally enjoy being in a cleaner kitchen whilst you cook. So yeah, that's cleaning as you're going. It really does save time. It sounds kind of strange, like surely I can just do all at the end, but give it a go and see what I mean. Tip number 7 is to have a blender. If you don't have a blender, I would highly recommend that you invest in getting one, because it gives you access to recipes that are very quick, because you just put everything in the blender and you're kind of good to go. So things like maybe soups, or I have a pancake recipe that's made in the blender. So tip number 7 is, if you don't have a blender, I think it's time, this is your sign, but it's time to get one. Tip number 8 is a sharp knife. A sharp knife makes all the difference when you are cutting and chopping, because if you use a blunt knife, then you're putting more effort and more energy into that task, whereas a sharp knife will help you to kind of enjoy it a little bit more, but also be more efficient with your time. You can regularly change your knives or have them sharpened, but one that lasts a long time would be ideal. Tip number 9 is a vegetable peeler. This tool, and especially this shape peeler, because you can get other ones and I feel like they're not as ergonomic, so it doesn't like, you not really have that ease with your hands when you're peeling it as good as this one, in my opinion. And a vegetable peeler is going to save you time in terms of not using a knife to kind of peel your vegetables, which can take longer, but also you can lose more vegetables, whereas this is very efficient. Tip number 10, which is my final tip, and it's not as easy to implement as the other because it's way more expensive, but if you don't have one, I would really recommend putting it on your vision board, putting it on your prayer list, because it saves so much time, and it's a dishwasher. Yes. Have a dishwasher to wash your dishes for you, which is just, that saves so much time, especially if you are, avidly cooking in the kitchen. So those are my top 10 tips in saving time and energy when you're in the kitchen. I hope that was helpful, and hopefully see you in another video.